Okay, good evening, everyone. We're about to begin. Welcome. Just a few announcements before we begin. If you need English to Spanish translation online, please click on the globe icon at the bottom of your Zoom. Select Spanish. In-person attendees needing translation can see Noemi at the River Center or myself, Willie, at Ranch for assistance. Ms. Demasi, could you please make this announcement in Spanish for us?
Absolutely. Buenas tardes a todos. Flor Di Masi, como siempre, recordándoles que estamos proporcionando interpretación simultánea al español esta tarde. Para poder accesar esta función, favor de localizar el icono en forma de mundo en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla. Una vez que lo haya hecho, seleccionar español como su idioma de preferencia. Es muy importante seleccionar modo silencio audio original para evitar escuchar ambos idiomas o ruidos de fondo. Ahora comenzará usted a escuchar la interpretación en español. Si cualquier persona del público necesita asistencia para estos idiomas, favor de comunicarse con Willy en el salón King Gillette Ranch o con Patty o Noemí en el salón River Center. También voy a poner estas instrucciones vía chat line. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Masi.
My pleasure.
For public comments, online attendees, please sign up using the Q&A button at the bottom center of your Zoom screen. Phone-in attendees, please dial *9 to raise your hand. In-person attendees may fill out a speaker card at the back of the room and hand it to a staff member. You can hand it to me, please. Mr. Chair, you are now welcome to call this meeting to order.
Thank you, Willie.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the 519th joint meeting of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy and the Santa Monica Mountains Advisory Committee meeting to order for December 15th, 2025. We're going to begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. And if I can ask, Julie, would you lead us?
Yes.
No, Julie. Sean's got something like that. Sean's.
I'm taking my Santa hat.
You have to do it, Sean.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the one nation under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Ahead of them.
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. We'll do our land acknowledgement. The Santa Monica Mountains that originally and are inhabited by the Fernandino Tatavian, Gabrielino Tongva, and Ventureño Chumash. We honor and respect their elders and descendants as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. Before we do a roll call, I do want to thank, we have a nice sized crowd here at King Gillette, and apologize to many of you that we have our backs to you. But as you can see, we also have our board here and friends at the LA River Center as well. So as we do this, please don't take it as a sign that we don't want to hear you and listen to you, but it's just the way we've set up the technology here. So with that, let's begin with the roll call. The roll call of the Conservancy.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be there with you in person, but I'm there with you in spirit. And here comes the roll. Mr. Gurrell, Miss Lyle.
Here.
Mr. Luna.
Present.
Miss Drake.
Here.
Miss Harrod. Miss Harrod.
Present.
Sorry. Thank you. Miss Munoz. Mr. Ortega. Miss Pavley.
Here.
Mr. Veras.
Here.
Quorum is present.
And the advisory committee, please, James.
Miss Acker. Miss Anderson.
Here.
Miss Brown. Mr. Cacciati.
Here.
Miss Conrad.
Here.
Mr. Corridori.
Here.
Mr. Dennert.
Here.
Miss Dransfeld.
Here.
Miss Fossen.
Here.
Mr. Garand. Miss James.
Here.
Mr. Kishbaugh.
Here.
Mr. Kraut.
Here.
Mr. Lang.
Here.
Ms. Lopez, Mr. Manoukian, Ms. Maikos, Ms. Nelson,
Here.
Mr. Ordubegyan, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rossman,
Present.
Mr. Wendler,
Here.
Mr. Yegparian, Ms. Newsom,
Here.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
quorum is present.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Next, we'll do the introduction of legislative participants or their staff. We'll start off here with Ryan.
Pass. Ryan Valencia, District Director for Assembly Member Jackie Irwin.
Okay. Any other legislative participants or their staff?
Lauren Pizer Maines.
Nope, sorry. Go ahead, Lauren.
That's okay. Lauren Pizer Maines with Senator Ben Allen.
And Declan Floyd with Assemblymember Harabedian.
Okay. And with that, we're going to move on to public comment. And let me announce basically our rules here. So if there are members of the public online that haven't submitted your name in the Q&A box at the bottom of Zoom, please do so now. Phone-in attendees, if you can dial *9 to raise your hand to inform us that you're interested in making a comment. And if there are any in-person attendees, if you can please fill out the speaker card at the back of the room at each of the locations and hand it to a staff member. Individuals will have 3 minutes to speak. And with that, let's start with our, if there are in-person speakers over at the River Center.
We don't have any speakers.
Okay. And then next, let's jump to in-person speakers here at King Gillette.
Mr. Chair, we have 4 public speakers. The first one's going to be Deanna Armbruster, followed by Jeffy Gurgenti. Deanna, you have the floor. If you can kindly walk to the podium and speak directly into the mic. Thank you so much.
Good evening, and thank you for hearing me tonight. My name is Deanna Armbruster, and I am the Executive Director of Santa Monica Mountains Fund. We are often known as SAMO Fund. Delighted to see here that I recognize names and faces and others that I'm getting acquainted with. SAMO Fund was founded in 1988 to support the Santa Monica Mountains. Today, our role is to provide an implementation strategy for regional resource stewardship. Ability to move public priorities from planning into sustained outcomes on the ground. So while on one hand, MRCA leads on planning, protection, and land management, SAMO Fund focuses on the implementation of stewardship programs. We partner closely with the National Park Service and California State Parks, and we are building a deeper partnership with Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains. Our goal is to align restoration, delivery, applied science, and long-term stewardship across various jurisdictions. Our work advances state priorities around urban greening, wildfire resilience, and nature-based climate solutions, particularly within the wildland-urban face of the Santa Monica Mountains. Through restoration, post-fire recovery, habitat connectivity, and public access projects, we work to reduce climate risk, improve ecological function, and deliver measurable public benefits to communities that are impacted by heat, fire, and other environmental disruptions. SAMO Fund operates a seed farm and a native in partnership with National Park Service. We also have been operating for the last few years, staffing for the Wildlife Crossing Nursery. We support regional wildlife connectivity, and our restoration work is designed to deliver functional outcomes. Our goals are to improve the habitat quality and to change the ecosystem and improve the biodiversity here. We're also connected in stewardship that requires our protection of cultural resources for public meaning, and we have a central role in the reconstruction of Paramount Ranch and other public access projects. 2020, SAMO Fund has invested more than $12.2 million directly into stewardships here in the Santa Monica Mountains, including the production of more than 125,000 native plants just this year. Over that same period, we've been responsible for approximately 150,000 students from Title I schools coming to public lands for field trips here in state parks and in national parks. In 2025, also alone, we've employed over 110 people and supported another 65 stipended interns working in these areas of restoration, climate resilience, and education. Taken together, the positions of SAMO Fund as a stewardship infrastructure for the Santa Monica Mountains, we know we don't set policy and we don't manage land, but we are really great at coordinating partnerships and translating interest into public benefit. We want to be clear that tonight we are making a comment because we want the Conservancy and the people in this community who Santa Monica Mountains to get to know us better. We value partnerships. We value the Conservancy and MRCA, and we are looking forward to aligning our support and our resources in the coming weeks, months, and years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deanna. Next public speaker is Jeffy, followed by Elise Tyler. Jeffy, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you for having me this evening and allowing me to speak. I am a resident in the Woodland Hills area. My name is Jeffy Gergenti. I'm also a radio show host on a local radio show here at AM 870 The Answer in Glendale. I found out about what's going on at the Woodland Hills Golf Course because I saw something that was sent to me about a meeting Friday night. They ended up having to move the meeting because 1,600 plus residents showed up to say that they're not happy that they're going to try to get rid of our golf course and do a 400 unit complex of living. So I went through a lot of things that I thought are very important. The first being fire hazard with that. There's one egress in and out, and that's it. And this is the first phase that they want to build on 19 acres. So with that, you have residents on Canoga that will not be able to get in and out from 12 different streets. That's their only access. With an egress going in and out only on Canoga for 2,000 people on the first project at 19 acres, what are they going to do when they go ahead and finish the rest of that acreage through the... What's the other problem with the golf course? The people in this room that hopefully will be up and be able to speak, they're going to tell you that it's a wetland. What does that mean? That means that water comes in and it absorbs like a sponge. It goes into our water table and it helps serve the rest of the community for water. Where's that water going when you have cemented it all off? What's going to happen when they go in with land movers and they start removing all the land and all the houses up above now way they should be because they don't have the support. You can put in retaining walls, but what are we going to do? We're going to destroy the mountains that we all moved into years and years ago. I've been a resident since 1998. I bought my house. There's other people in this room that have had generations of families that have bought their house, sold it to their children and their grandchildren, and they want to continue to live there without not having a community that is overrun by traffic. There's no bus stops. There's no public transportation that goes up mats. You have a fire issue. If there's a fire up there, which is a high risk fire region, how are people going to get out? And if you drive further up, because we are in the mountains, don't get us wrong. We're not in the flats, we're in the mountains. So when you get up to the top, you're going to see little signs with tow trucks that in high fire day park there. So if you happen to be one of the homes that are up there and you only have parking for 3 cars, or you have 3 drivers and parking for 2 cars, you have to drive down the street to park. If they have to get to their cars or move in a fire or evacuation like they did in Pacific Palisades, we're going to have the same thing happen here. And why is that fair to residents that have lived here for, I don't know what, I don't think the oldest home, the golf course, is 100 years old. Think about that. We're going to destroy a 100-year-old golf course for housing that doesn't meet the needs of our community. The idea of what they're building doesn't even fit in with the type of houses that we're living in. A lot is for one story, 2 story. There's a 19 acres behind the golf course that's going to lose his view because he's going to have a 6-story building overlooking his home. That's not what this area should have, and it doesn't suit the Santa Monica Mountains and the Conservancy. Let's talk about flushing toilets. It's a need we all have. Our sewer lines will not carry 2,000 residents toilets all day long, every day, 7 days a week. Where are all these kids going to go to school? Because I can tell you, Serenia School right now has a permit process to get in, but it's a residential community school that's there. So where are the kids going to school? Are they going to then build a school on that golf course? What kind of community are they going to create on the golf course? Where are we going to lose all of our free space for our dogs to run, our kids to play, and our retirees to sit and enjoy what they spent their lives working for to enjoy in the neighborhood? I think it's a crisis that is going to be huge if we allow this building to go through. The other thing we need to look at is our
1
fire
minute
departments.
remaining.
Thank you. Our fire departments are not open 24/7 like they used to be because they're underfunded and understaffed. There's no way our fire department is going to be able to handle a fire in that area. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I hope you take this into consideration and you don't allow this to get pushed through. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffy. Tyler, followed by Heath Klein. Elise?
Hello, my name is Elise Tyler, and I'm representing the Woodland Hills Neighborhood Collective. I believe my initial email that I wrote to you all was shared in the agenda packet for tonight. I am against the proposed development at 4868 Canoga, the Woodland Hills Country Club Golf Course, and the fast tracking that the developers are seeking through AB 2011 and 2243. First of all, thank you for your amazing letter of support. We were so happy to read that, and it was so well written and researched, and it's really valuable. So we really ask for your continued support as we continue to fight this development and the fast tracking. Woodland Hills Country Club property sits at the edge of the Santa Monica Mountains ecosystem. It is a designated very high hazard severity zone, and we believe that this project directly implicates the Conservancy's mission to protect open space, habitat connectivity, and public safety. The golf course currently functions as a critical open space buffer in this very high fire hazard severity zone. Converting this land to dense residential development would fundamentally alter fire behavior, evacuation feasibility, and emergency access for the surrounding communities. We are particularly concerned that this project is attempting to AB 2011, which would eliminate full environmental review and public agency input for a site with clear environmental and wildlife implications. We believe this undermines the Conservancy to fulfill its statutory role. Sorry, maybe that was not what I meant to say. Living in the area, we are blessed with a vast wildlife, from our beautiful oak and pepper trees to migratory birds, bobcats, coyotes, bunnies, you name it, we have it. As Jeffy said, we also act as a wetland. It is in the ecosystem of the neighborhood, and as she mentioned, the Girard Track neighborhood that surrounds the golf course was actually designed around it in 1925. So it really is the heart of the neighborhood. The land is begging us to protect it. It truly needs us. Decisions are now being made at the wildlife urban interface that will define whether Southern California can adapt to wildfire and climate realities, or if it will continue to exacerbate it. We believe this site represents a critical test and precedent in case. Thank you so much for.
Thank you, Elise. Heath Klein, and then followed by Jamie Toscas. Heath?
Great, good evening. Let me get this adjusted, people. All right. Good evening, board members. I'm Heath Klein, a board member of the Woodland Hills Warner Center Neighborhood Council, with 25 years of service coming up this year, representing this area around the golf course. I'm representative for this community, but not everyone gets to vote for me. For example, come on. Oh, well, that's it. I have a beautiful picture on my computer that's waking up of a copper hawk that I photographed at the golf course this Saturday. He was flying by and I snapped his picture. Beautiful, beautiful specimen that will be lost as will be the red-tailed hawks that call that area home. There's raptors that make the golf course its home. And as others have mentioned, neighbors regularly see bobcats. The trees support beehives. How many of those do you find in the community these days? And we know how important bees are to the entire system. Coyotes move around the golf course and are more common than Amazon vans in the neighborhood. So that should give you an idea how many we have. And at night, it is dark. There are no lights. And thanks to Jeff and his education coming before our neighborhood council, he's educated us on the importance of skies and keeping them dark. He's educated us on the harm of the rodicides. And my neighborhood council, myself, I go to neighbors, I educate them, and we are stewards of this land. We're following in the tradition of the native people that were here, but they've taught us what to do, and we're trying to follow their best practices. But we have this fast track golf course plan where they're bypassing, and I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but they're claiming under one of the state AB bills to bypass all local control and all local reviews. So this will not come before the neighborhood council unless the city stands up to the state. And perhaps our fine representative of the past, Ms. Pavley, give us some guidance on how to wake Sacramento up to this. But the way it stands right now, the city planning department will have no review. The council will have no review. They're claiming they want no CEQA on this, be exempt. And we desperately need your letter to go to Mayor Bass, and we need your activism, and we need your help to alert the community, because if it's happening here in Woodland Hills first, this is going to spread throughout the Conservancy's area of responsibility and throughout the state. So please approve the letter tonight, to send it to Mayor Bass, but more importantly, please lobby her, lobby everyone in the city to stand up for our rights, because we don't get a do-over on this, folks.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you very much.
Please. We have Jamie Pascus, followed by a virtual online speaker by the name of Angela Dupont.
Hi, I was not expecting to get up here and do this, and I'm not super good at this, but I did send a letter today that I wrote to and Paul Edelman, as well as people in planning, so it's in a bunch of inboxes somewhere. I am an expediter who deals with getting entitlements. I'm also a licensed contractor, and I have worked in and around the Santa Monica Mountains area for decades. I lived for decades. I live in the Girard Tract now. And so I won't go into all the concerns people have already well established about, you know, fire ingress and egress and all the rest of it. We all know who, you know, those of us who live in the Girard Tract, that we can barely get in and out on trash day, let alone if there were a fire and we were all trying to evacuate at one time. I'm just going to sort of paraphrase from what I wrote today and sent out. We all know that our neighborhood is an environmentally sensitive and also potentially a tribal culture that abuts the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. I want to thank the Mountains Conservancy for the letter they drafted. I hope they do put it through. I thought it was well written and covered all the bases. We know the developers have kind of tailor-made legislation and lobbied and kind of worked around our specific plan, which is pretty egregious in my opinion. I wanted to put out there sort of taking a look at SB 18, because SB 18 states that local governments must contact and consult with California Native American tribes prior to the amendment or adoption of a general plan, specific plan, or a designation of open space. Now, I wasn't involved in all the lobbying and stuff that went on to change our specific plan and basically nullify it, kick it out the window. However, I would like to put out there that this be investigated, and if indeed SBA 18 was not followed, then I believe that there's a possibility that the sort of nullification of Girard Tract is invalid, and that the fire zoning and ministerial approval should apply. For sure, I'm not an attorney. That's why I sent the email to all of the people that are on the list, including city planning. I'm gonna here. I do believe that the Girard specific plan was thoughtfully designed in consideration of limitations of a hillside canyon area that was starting to become too dense. And when we talk about too dense, we mean unsafe. The plan was put in place to limit development and keep residents, wildlife, and the environment of this sensitive area safe and to preserve the integrity of the location. I find it just kind of horrifying that local government has been stripped of all of its tools to try to protect these areas. I think they're recognize that California has a housing shortage, but enacting these sort of draconian measures and packing density in is not the way to solve the problem. Hand tying our local officials is not the way to solve the problem. Our local officials know our areas, they know our ecosystems, they know all of the little quirks about where we live. Officials up in, Northern California or Sacramento don't know this. They don't know these things. We already have so much density with mixed, all of it within a mile and a half of the Girard Tract out in Warner Center. So I don't think you can really argue that this is an issue about affordable housing or, mixed income housing. We live in the midst of that already.
1 minute remaining.
Okay, thanks. This is about, protecting what we have in that very, sort of sacred space and keeping everybody in our community safe in the event of an emergency. Another fear I have is not only fire. I'll just cite a neighbor that lives next to me who has had paramedics at his house twice in the last probably 6 months. I can't imagine if Canoga Avenue were clogged up with that the paramedics could have even gotten to him. He has a heart condition. He's a young, father with babies. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of hope it's not word vomit. I just wanted to sort of put that out there and kind of maybe entertain the notion of investigating SB 18 as a tool that could hopefully help mitigate some of what's going on in Sacramento. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. The last public speaker online is Angela DuPont. Angela, you have the floor.
Hi, my name actually is Pamela Evans. And I just want to let you know that as a resident of 50 years and someone who's had children go to the Woodland Hills Community Church right there, it was designed to be agricultural for a reason, with landslide zones and everything that has that golf course there. Anything that the Mountain Conservancy, can do is important, whether it's looking for oak trees on that land and saying they need to be 15 to 20 feet away from every single one. Whatever it is you can do or get the density down, because the community and the area can't support it. They are already backing in 180,000 homes in Warner Center. This area, we have no space. This is crazy. And the fact that the planning department says they have no rights is not true, because it's A1 land. So why can you just take A1 land and decide it's not A1 land? Thank you for your time and bless you for trying to do something. Because as a community member, we gave up Warner Center, but we can't give up these small parcels of land that are water areas and areas for animals that go there every night. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. We have one more public speaker in person here, Anna Kowalski. Anna?
I wasn't going to speak, but I'm going to do it on behalf of my mom. My mom's a longtime activist fighting development, and she told us all to wear green because you have to show up in a color that everybody feels united. And so I just want to say that I think my sister's taping this for my mom. Makes me feel a little bit teary, but I just want to say I thank you so much because in this room, I feel like there's more bravery and more any of the rooms we've been in. I'm not one of the people who are putting this all together. I just happen to live in the neighborhood. Elise Tyler has just been our leader, and she's amazing. But I just wanted to say we've been to, we went to Jesse Gabriel's office this morning, and he didn't show. And it just feels so important to be heard, to see your letter without us screaming, but just knowing because you care about this area and the green and where we live. And I just want to say thank you because you're brave and you stand up for what's right. And we haven't seen a lot of that in this fight yet. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Mr. Chair, we have come to the end of all public speak.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, before we conclude, I wanted to note that Ms. Mikos is online, and this would be the opportunity for her to make comments as a member of the public on any item on the agenda. So Roseanne, if you had any comments, this is your chance.
Thank you, James. Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Yeah, no, I'm just I'm out of town and I tried to get on earlier but didn't, and so I'm on now, and I know that whatever I might have to say is not going to count for anything in terms of voting, but I'm, going to listen intently to what everybody has to say, and I'm reading through everything now. I'm concerned about what's going to happen in that, for that rulemaking thing. So I'm anxious to see how that is going to play out. And so if anybody has any questions of me, you're welcome to ask, but I'll generally keep quiet.
Thank you, Roseanne. Mr. Chair, you can go ahead and resume the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, James. And I just wanted to know for the record, Ali Acker is here. So we'll note her. I don't know if there was anybody else that arrived from the River Center from either the Conservancy or the Advisory Committee, but if not, that is our quorum and members present in person. So, okay, we have a few discussion items. The first one is fairly simple. It's approval of our minutes from November 17th.
Can we get a motion from the alley? Thank you. In a second. Awesome. Any corrections or do we get a vote?
Ms. Acker?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Mr. Ansfeld?
Yes.
Ms. Fossen?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Kishbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Rossman?
Abstain.
Mr. Windler?
Yes.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
That carries with one abstention.
Thank you, James.
Okay, Conservancy members, is there a motion second for this item?
I'll move approval of the minutes. I'll second.
Thank you both. Let's go to a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Ms. Harrod?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Veras?
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, next item is a consideration of a resolution authorizing an opposition comment letter to the City of Los Angeles for the proposed 398 or so units Canoga Canyon project. within the Woodland Hills Country Club Golf Course in Woodland Hills. And let me ask Paul if he can give a staff report, and then we'll hand it off to the advisory committee.
Be great. The map put up, it's in there. Could you do that, Willie, or somebody else? I think the best thing to start with is just the scale of this project. It's a 94-acre property. They're trying to develop 19 and a half or 20 acres within it. And with 398 units, I think all of which would be story or taller. So it's a very compact area. And it's clearly within the Santa Monica Mountain Zone. From a planning standpoint, it's putting too much in an area sensitive. The fact that there are bobcats there, that golf course was right by the Conservancy Serenia property, right by Serenia Park, which is all part of the Big Wild and the Topanga State Habitat, Topanga Core Habitat area. And so this letter, the draft letter before you, is to say, hey, to try and do that without an EIR, to try and do that without alternatives, to try and do that without looking at any of the environmental implications, particularly what happens to the rest of the 74 acres of the golf course after, if you just go with the 398 houses in the first tranche, and to step back and look at it, that it's just a horrible planning thing to do. What kind of got it over the hurdle to try and, even the city council member, Bob Blumenfeld, saying that there really don't seem to be too many alternatives to bring it back to the city, is I think this last bill that was passed that snuck in that if you have a street that has a 70-foot right of way, not necessarily 70 feet of pavement, that becomes a commercial corridor, even if it's all, rural houses like Canoga is, and that allows them to bypass any local control. So it's kind of a devilish thing to do because it's not a commercial corridor. So the letter calls out the environmental aspects of the property, the fact that it's part of the zone, the fact that it needs to be scrutinized better, and to tell the planning director and Mayor Bass to do an EIR and to do what is necessary to make a project there that really works with the site. The only thing that staff will want to add to the letter is that I forgot to put in is that the Conservancy did adopt the land protection plan, the Mountains Land Protection Plan, about a year and a half ago, that included all the habitat maps that were approved from the Conservancy approved from Topanga to Griffith Park, and packaged them all into one land protection plan. And that includes this area too. And a lot of the state legislation refer to areas that have a land protection plan that they would be exempt, just like very high fire hazard severity zones and things of that nature. So before you have a letter, it mentions wetlands, it mentions habitat blocks and public lands, and just to say stop, do an EIR, basically. That's it.
Okay, and with that, can I get a motion from the advisory board? Thank you. And okay, great. And discussion.
Yeah, I'll begin if I can. And Paul, thank you for sharing with us. Could you just clarify for us the connectivity plans that you prepared for us a while back? Or was the golf course part of the connectivity plan?
The golf course was not shown as a natural area. There were, if you go back to that slide, you can see that there are numbered habitat blocks pretty much around the entire southern hemisphere of the golf course. The little numbered red habitat blocks. See the red areas, those are all blocks. And so it was part of the connectivity plan because that's core habitat from Serenia Park leading south into the Conservancy Serenia piece into Mulholland Gateway Park. Yes, so the answer is yes.
Okay.
Just that we didn't call that an open space. We probably should have, because there are bobcats there, and that says a lot about the habitat quality, and the raptors are off the charts in that area.
And so at this point, I would say that I'm leading in favor of supporting this position and supporting this letter. As I read the letter, there's a lot of material in it, and I'd be interested in seeing it focused on the authority of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. As the points in here, the mention of the Big Wild Topanga State Park Core Habitat Planning Map. Even there's at the paragraph subtly, we mentioned that it's on the State Fish and Wildlife Services National Wetland Inventory. There's several points that are made in this letter that they aren't emphasized. It took me reading it twice to read the gist of how the Conservancy has a role in opining here. And I would love to see some of that either bolded or rewritten or restated at the end, so that we really make sure that we let the mayor know why we are so much in favor of preserving this land like it is. And with that, I would be in favor of it.
Ally.
Or perhaps expanded. So on those points, that's what I was, especially on the wetland position. And also even more on the fire position. I actually.
Ally, sorry, can you speak into the mic, please?
Right. Yeah. My voice is terrible right now. I happen to have gone to a party in that neighborhood, Halloween party, in fact. And so it reacquainted me with the neighborhood. And it's worse than Topanga in terms of ingress and egress. We had to all park. This was not a big party. We all had to park at the community church because there's no place to park. There's room for 1 to 2 cars per house. This is a tightly packed little teeny neighborhood that surrounds this property. So I have a huge concern with my background in mitigation and fire with regard to what will happen to this neighborhood with that increased density, the number of vehicles there, the impact it will have in general, and the effect that will have on the general ecosystem. So yes, for an the EIOR, and in greater depth in some of these points, especially on the wetlands and these other points, to really clarify each and every point that we can make here, because I think this is a watershed project. And if this project goes through, I think the general feeling is this is just phase 1. And so the concern is this is very important ecologically in that entire little neighborhood. And obviously we have a grave concern because we have adjacent properties, and this is a gateway property to the Santa Monica's and Topanga.
One suggestion from staff is that I did try and formulate the letter to just say the things that are really completely Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy-esque that nobody else could come up with and nobody else could say, and not to venture into other areas. I tried to do that. I would recommend getting a letter in now. We can do another letter in January. It will still be staff time to do some more research. That makes sense. And the other thing I failed to mention too is that apparently this legislation that the governor signed in October also nullified specific plans that are over 25 years old, which decimates the Girard Tract specific plan. I don't know what it does to the Mulholland Scenic Parkway specific plan because it has been updated, but that's pretty parallel stuff to be messing with specific plans, particularly the Mulholland Parkway. I think somebody said that since the Mulholland plan was updated, that doesn't count. Nonetheless, that's not a very fair way to play it to wipe out a specific plan. So that's one more thing I forgot to mention.
That was going to be my exact suggestion. Since it's a really strong letter as it is, it absolutely could be made stronger. As anything can be made stronger. So I love your recommendation. Let's get this in, and I'm prepared to vote for it.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question, Paul. Is there already a 75-foot road, or is that something that would have to be constructed?
No, it's barely probably a 30 feet of pavement. I did have our GIS person check that as soon as you go south on Canoga and contact the golf course property, I hate to say it, but the city road right away is 70 feet there.
70 feet.
Yeah.
right of way, not
The right of way.
Right.
Pavement's narrow, the pavement,
Okay, well, that's seeking a zone change.
excuse me?
That's seeking a zone change.
Mm,
The amendment
the amendment.
is seeking a zone change, right?
Yeah.
From agricultural recreation to commercial.
I guess. I think with these new state laws, they don't even care. They just
Yeah.
say, here,
Don't care about that in the new laws. Yeah.
zone schmoan.
Second.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll second.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Just one thing I wanted to
Yeah,
comment, if it's okay. I just, is similar to, some of our public comments from last month in terms of people coming forward and speaking. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who not only spoke, but showed up. I know that there is strength in numbers. So thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking up and, just, keep fighting the good fight.
All, and I plan to support the comment letter. One of the reasons for that is the way you drafted it, focused on the things under our purview, like the environment. Another reason is because issues that I have with the project that I don't think we're the best to address, like traffic. But that said, that's a reason to go through the normal process so people can weigh in on it. So I like the letter because it's asking them to go through a process that community could give feedback. In my mind, a community shouldn't be able to say no housing, but how to make it work better. And the normal process could allow for that. I'll also say in there, when we talk about housing stories, like that's a bad thing. I just want to say, I don't agree. Just because we say 3 stories, I'm supposed to know that's bad. In fact, you're either going to build up or out. So if you don't build up, then you're asking to sprawl out into more areas. So I don't, I mean, like it's 3 stories. Well, let's make it 1 story and take more land. Like every other comment about protecting land goes away if we just spread out further instead. But I could say like the egress and the traffic issue, and I'm looking at the map and those roads, and it doesn't look like you could fit as many homes into there. So I'm sensitive to that and say, let's send a letter and make them go through a normal process to make the community comfortable. And sometimes the developer has to pay to improve the infrastructure instead of on the road pay for it. I like that part too. And then there are many people that would love to comment on these things, but they can't afford any housing in our state, so they move to another state. Like our schools are, for the most part, have declining enrollment across Southern California in most places because they've been moving away. That mentioning that part, I'm not always going to be against all housing projects at all costs everywhere and try to make everyone more expensive. When I hear litigation, all I hear is, well, it's probably going to happen eventually anyways, but we'll make the housing more expensive in the process. And I don't like that part to it. But the normal process seems fair. There's also, in the last part of the letter, I think, if I'm reading correctly, there might be a small typo we'll clean up. And our staff, when we vote for this letter, can clean up typos, right?
Absolutely.
I'm seeing
I've
conservative
had at
stance.
least 4 pointed out so far, so yes.
If full opposition, I imagine reads in full opposition too. So I like that it's asking us to address the issues we can, and the issues that we're not experts on, we're asking them to go through the normal process to address those issues.
The council member did put in a motion signed by Rodriguez, whatever, in any case, to have 30 days for the city attorney to get back and for planning to get back to how these new state laws affect this project. So time is tight. That's why I say it's good to get a letter in, because this could be law, or this could be settled in a very short amount of time.
To have one quick, I also don't want to slow us down with editing, but there is one point that I would like to slightly change one of the sentences. It has to do with the wetlands inventory, and it has to do with the changing definition, thanks to our wonderful Supreme Court. But if we could say, rather than say, so this is the sentence about the wetlands, and it reads, are included in the United States Fish and Wildlife Service's National Wetland Inventory. Because things are a bit changing with that, I would just change that to has been in the Fish and Wildlife Service's National Wetlands Inventory for decades. And that's solid regardless of what has changed. A little more defensible down the road. But with that, I will be supporting this.
And adding the thing too about the Santa Monica Mountain, Eastern Santa Monica Mountains Land Protection Plans.
Absolutely. Any other? Yeah.
James, would you please add Garand from the advisory committee to the roll call?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. And it looks like up on comments. So James, can we please get a vote, roll call vote, please?
Yes, sir. Ms. Acker,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Cacchiotti,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori.
Yes, I'm assuming this is with the inclusion of the language that this has, the Wildlife Service wetland inventory has been in the wetland inventory for decades.
It has been.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
Mr. Dennert,
Yes.
Mr. Hansfeld,
Yes.
Ms. Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Garand,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Mr. Kishba,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Lang, Ms. Nelson,
Abstain.
George, are you yes or?
Yes.
thank you.
Mr. Lang, say yes.
Mr. Rossman,
Yes.
Mr. Wendler,
Yes.
Ms. Newsom,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
That carries with one abstention.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Conservancy members, get a motion and a second, and if we can do it with the proposed modifications from the advisory committee.
Yeah, Luna, I'll move.
Thank you, Mr. Luna, and a second.
Second.
Ms. Pavley, okay. Any comments or questions from the Conservancy?
I had just a few, I suppose, questions, and I'm solidly supporting of sending this letter. But with it seems like it's just moving forward so quickly, I mean, on purpose. May the letter also be sent and forwarded to other relevant, like, city council committees?
City council committees, you said?
Yeah, the relevant committees, or even the Senate Natural Resources and Water Committee, relevant state committees, because I think there's some challenging words here on the interpretation of the intent of those bills that have been referenced. I spoke to a legislator, they said commercial corridors, they were thinking of strip malls, malls that had fallen apart, definitely downtown commercial areas. And I, as a native Angelino growing up in the San Fernando Valley in the 50s and 60s, I remember those old zoning maps of 60, 70-foot wide roads, because everything was going to go from Ventura Boulevard to Mulholland that was also going to be 80 feet wide. Are those outdated plans that have been?
Yes. I think staff is okay with the refer to our executive director about sending it to the Senate Natural Resources Committee.
I could send it.
You can send it.
But I just, because I was told that was never the intent when people voted for this bill, that was how it was going to be used. And now it is a challenging time. I don't think there's any intent that a golf course or anything was going to have a 70-foot wide road ever up there. So it's sort of outdated planning. I want to make sure, I've been following City Council Member Blumenthal, who's paying attention issue, but trying to make sure that anyone who's relevant and needs to be part of the discussion knows about it sooner than later, because it's the precedent of this project. It's not just this project. This has broad implications all over the state of California.
So is she amending the motion to expand the CC list, basically?
Well, I don't know. It didn't have to be in the motion. I was just asking if it's appropriate to.
Mr. Chairman and members, is this on?
Yes.
It would be no surprise to the members of the Senate and Assembly Natural Resources Committee about a position on that. I am everybody knows my professional opinion as a professional planner that the state legislature has upended decades worth of environmental planning by these ill-conceived bills. And I can only be happy that the state legislature will have a new representatives in that department. And the California legislature, I think, will look back on these hell-bent going down the road. I don't know of any community that says that we need more development. You don't find that. However, I do have a problem expressing those on state stationery that is beyond the jurisdiction of the agency.
Understand.
I'd like to offer a comment as well, and I know I guess I'm going to out the said legislator because we also did speak, and I get appointee on this committee, and I know Henry Stern, who represents the area, has expressed serious concerns, particularly about fire and access, and is very much of the letter we're looking at. And I would suggest that perhaps this is a conversation from the legislative reps that we have here. Henry and I sort of, or the Senator and I, thought back to this concept of the vacant shopping centers, the sort of these spots that are throughout the state of California that just don't operate like that indoor mall anymore. And there was a great desire to move quickly through that. And so there may be other bills that are looked at here, but probably the core of moving things quickly is to deal with a lot of that. And I think there was a lot of agreement there and a lot of energy to do that. But if this was on the table to be talked about, there may have been very different conversations that have taken place in the legislature. So I think from the standpoint to see this as an example, not the abandoned mall in Bakersfield, for example, which was raised several times, is something that I think we have to be very clear in informing the legislature on. I think I was commenting that the last time we had a conversation up in Verdugo Hills, smaller space, but there was a great deal of effort under a different set of rules to try to work with the community and work with the open space that was out there, and probably in the end it ended up in a decent scenario. Not perfect, but certainly much different than a fast track push through, not think about what's going on with nature and all the connections, and certainly with our property there. So I think this letter is a start to move into lots more conversations. It's, I think, a very significant project, and we should be watching it very closely. So with that, I would urge our vote unless there's another comment from other members of the Conservancy. And if we can provide afterwards the instruction to our staff to stay on it and to work with our legislative reps to make sure that the intent behind some of the other fast tracking doesn't get caught up in the tasks that we have as agencies to preserve our natural spaces and open spaces as well. So seeing no other comments, let's move forward with the roll call vote, please.
Miss Lyle,
Yes.
Mr. Luna,
Yes.
Miss Drake,
Yes.
Miss Harrod,
Yes.
Miss Pavley,
Yes.
Mr. Veras.
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, thank you. And thank you all for joining us today on that. Next, we're moving on to item C. 8C is the consideration of a resolution authorizing emergency rulemaking for regulations for the implementation of Proposition 4, the Safe Drinking Water, Wildfire Prevention, Drought Preparedness, and Clean Air Bond of 2024. This is a continuation of our dialogue from our last board meeting where we did a number of actions with conditions, and the condition is this here. So I have Jeff listed. I'm imagining he's online. Jeff Maloney, our general counsel, was going to present to us.
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, you have it exactly right. This is something that first was discussed in this body at the last meeting. If you recall, we approved 2 grants of Prop 4 funding conditionally upon the resolution of this issue. And the issue in particular is when there is a statute or in this case, a bond measure of general application that is passed, the Administrative Procedure Act applies. It essentially charges state agencies that are implementing a particular statute or bond measure. They charge those state agencies with coming up with a set of regulations to ensure equal application of the statute, and essentially has them create a process to carry out the statutes. Bond measures, like the ones we have been allocated money from over the years, are laws of general application, and typically regulations would be required, except that the legislature and or the petition writers, when they circulate a petition, have exempted state agencies such as ours from the regulations required under the Procedures Act in previous bond measures. So this is somewhat of a new thing for the Conservancy and our sister agencies. And we were informed by Natural Resources Agency that these regulations would be required. The legislature did add a small tweak to Prop 4 after it was adopted. I think it was through a budget trailer bill that gives agencies the ability to adopt emergency regulations and do it on somewhat of a fast track model. So what you have before you today is the notice of preparation of emergency rulemaking and the draft emergency regulations. They're pretty straightforward. We collaborated with other state agencies and CNRA and used a template that had already been approved by the Office of Administrative Law, which is the agency that oversees rulemaking and regulations. So this is pretty straightforward. As you can see in the draft regulations, it requires essentially a letter of interest from potential applicants, an initial screening to ensure that applicants or entities that are looking to apply can qualify and the type of project they're doing qualifies under our program. And then it requires an application to be submitted and a committee of the agency. And recall that we're not a big agency, so pretty much everyone on Conservancy staff is on the review committee, and make that review committee will make a recommendation to the board as to move ahead. Short regulations, not too detailed. We're a small agency. We do a fairly narrow scope of distribution of these funds. So that's what you have in front of you. Other agencies have much larger programs and are going to have much larger regulation scope. And fortunately, we don't have to do that here. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. What we're trying to do is get this adopted. We will submit it to the Office of Administrative Law for emergency regulations. They're supposed to have 10 days to review. The holidays will intervene, of course, but we're going to try to get this thing approved and implemented as soon as possible so that we can get back to our grantees about funding their projects.
Great. Great. Can I get a motion from someone?
So moved.
Excellent.
Second.
Okay, great. Perfect. And any questions for Jeff or any questions about these?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, could you indicate who made the chair?
Yep, sorry, it was Ms. Anderson, I think, first, and then Ed second, I think.
Thank you.
Seconded. And any questions about these rules or discussion? Okay, see none. James, can we get a roll call vote, please?
No comments?
No, I see no. Did I see someone? Did I miss someone? I apologize.
Just a quick question. Are these rules any different than what we follow for any of the other? Are they substantially different from what we follow for any of the other propositions?
Well, honestly, not really. There is some requirements to do formal requests for letters of interest. But otherwise, the process is essentially the same. Usually people will call Rory or someone else on staff or submit send an email saying, hey, we'd like to apply for a grant. And Rory will say, well, you're located in, Lassen County, so no deal. Or, they're doing some other projects, so we can't fund that. But if something's eligible and the funding is there, we've been allocated through the budget, we have the budget for it, then an application can be submitted and it's reviewed by staff. It's essentially the same process. It's just this is a little bit more formal.
Thank you.
Right.
We
Okay.
don't have anything against Lassen County, though.
Okay.
Of course not. We love it up there.
Wow, anti-Lassenists here. Okay, so then I really think I don't see any more comments now. So James, can we please have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Ms. Acker,
Yeah.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori,
Yes.
Mr. Dennert,
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld,
Yes.
Ms. Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Garand,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Mr. Kishbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Ms. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Rossman,
Yes.
Mr. Windler,
Yes.
Ms. Newsom,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Conservancy members, is there a motion and second on the floor?
I move.
Thank you, Ms. Lam. And the second, I'll second, because I do have a comment I'd like to make. Just out of curiosity, in terms of process, after we receive this back from the administrative law review, is the way that the Proposition 4 is going to be administered based on letters of interest, or do we do a call, or how is it functionally going to take place here?
Yeah, I think first, what we'll do is specifically, it was recommended to us that we include, which is in your resolution, include some flexibility for staff to work with OAL to make sure that we're addressing any of their concerns. So if they identify something like this, we'll have the flexibility to change that. Nothing substantive, but some of the procedural stuff. And perhaps one of those discussion items will be how do we implement that? And if the funding is available, what I had suggested internally, informally at this point is that when funding is available, we post something on our website, in our announcements page saying that grants are being considered. If you'd like to be considered for a grant, submit a letter of intent or letter of interest, and that will be the first step. That could go on a rolling basis until the funding that has been allocated has been spent for the year, and then we'll take it down and put it back up when funding is available again. So I think there are some details to be worked out. We don't have everything figured out because, as we said, this is the first time we've had to do these formal regulations. But I anticipate that it'll be a pretty straightforward, easy, transparent process.
Okay. So and this has already happened. So I'm going to use this as I guess as a hypothetical, but it's real. Like, we're taking requests or interest on wildfire prevention. For example, we just did a whole bunch of that. So we would now announce it as taking in proposals, and individuals would submit or groups would submit based on that. Or I think there've been other times when we were a little bit more prescriptive on the funding covers these areas.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand what if we're announcing it and waiting to see what comes, or can we be more prescriptive with the way we ask for proposals?
Mr. Chairman, the legislature exempted wildfire.
Okay, take that as a bad example.
But the general example is,
yeah,
people are going to say, I've got a beautiful piece of property next door to me. I want to have it saved, and how do we go about doing that? And we would interact with them on that basis.
Okay.
So I don't think it need to be too onerous. Will help people along in the process. So what is onerous is going to be getting these regulations through. Other agencies have proposed regulations and were turned down. So we'll see whether the good folks at OAL like our toned down, smooth process that does not involve too many bureaucrats. But typically state regulations, are generated to make sure that the bureaucrats will have something to do next week. So we'll see.
Do you foresee any, like, if the body, for example, wanted to be active again in LA River, counting some of the water stuff here, and we wanted to be specific with requests in the LA River, do we still have those rights with this rulemaking?
We have a right to do anything that the legislature will allow us to do.
Okay. Well, then I'll take that as yes. So, okay, those are my questions. Is there any questions from the River Center? Online?
Good.
Okay, online, anybody online? If not, we have a motion and a second, and we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Miss Lyle,
Yes.
Mr. Luna,
Yes.
Miss Drake,
Yes.
Miss Harrod,
Yes.
Miss Pavley,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett.
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, great, wonderful, thank you. That's our discussion items. We're going to move on to our reports here. I do want to kick off the chairman's report. I had every intention of bringing a beautiful award that our agency received over at the City of Calabasas. And I wanted to recognize several members of the board and advisory board for attending with this. I know Kate Anderson and Julie and Fran and I know Joe and Rory, we all got out there. If I'm missing anybody, and I'm saving Peter here because he was actually doing his mayoral duties. But the city recognized the agency as the organization of the year, and it was really great to see in their presentation the description and the dialogue about the kind of relationship we have with the city of Calabasas. And so it was great to receive the award. Thank you for the acknowledgement. You all do some great stuff out there in Calabasas, and so really appreciate the words and the kudos, and thank you for putting on your mayor hat for us for a little bit. So
I'm going to jump in just real quick and say it wasn't even a question who the city of Calabasas wanted to recognize. The Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy was our #1 choice and our only choice. And we really appreciate everything that this organization has done for our city, for our surrounding communities, and it's #1 in my heart, and we've now shown you that it's #1 in the heart of all of the city of Calabasas. So thank you.
great, thank you.
So, Mr. Kraut, you'll be submitting a letter pursuant to these new regulations, right?
Whatever you need, Joe.
And does this mean that Joe gets a library card for your library?
Bribery.
Well, good stuff. Thank you again. That was great. Next, we'll move on to the Coastal Commissioner. I don't think we have Dana here, so we'll skip
No
that.
report.
Coastal Conservancy report,
No report.
Attorney General report,
No report tonight, thank you.
National Park Service report.
Yeah, just a couple things. Good evening. I thought I would bring a wildlife update. Those tend to be kind of popular. Our researchers have been out. It's sort of a trapping season for us to try to gather, to capture new animals to enter into our research studies. And many of you are aware, we've been doing carnivore research and other large mammal research for several decades. Some of those studies now approaching 30 years of data collection. And so in the last week, we have had incredibly great luck. We have caught 1 mountain lion, 2 bobcats, and a deer. And so usually it doesn't happen in a big group like that for us, but all 3 of those wildlife teams that operate independently from one another have had success this past week. It's the mountain lion is a adult female that's traveling with 2 kittens right now. And right now she's not named. We're referring to her as UP3, which means unknown puma. She has a small hole in one of her ears, which indicates that she had an ear tag when she was a kitten. And so we think she's from a litter that we tagged back in the summer of 2022. And so as soon as we do the genetic work to figure out exactly which litter she came from, then she can go back to what her name was, whatever P number she was back then. Yeah.
I think she's been visiting Topanga because there's a lot of video footage of her. She's got a little thing on her ear and 2 cubs, and they think there might be a 3rd cub.
All these kids want multiple piercings. It's crazy. It's totally crazy.
Very bad.
And the other thing is the two bobcats that we got in the last week, both adult males, which is kind of unusual. That also is a function of the time of year. It's breeding season. Males are moving around a lot more. And so it's the bobcat researchers are thrilled to have 2 new cats to follow and learn about what they're doing, especially as they are repopulating those kind of section of the Simi Hills that burned in the Woolsey fire. And so that was a big habitat loss at that time. And then I'll just close by saying, I know it's the holiday season and people are probably having guests and people visiting from out of town and stuff. And if you're looking for things to do, check out the outdoor calendar that the SAMO Fund and the Park Service have lots of events in the next month. We've got film history programs, restoration volunteer opportunities. There's a Shumash songs program and yoga on the mountain this Saturday. So lots of stuff for anybody and family members that might be interested. So happy holidays from the National Park Service.
Thank you. Next, move to the state parks.
Hello, good evening. So Richard probably shared with everyone that the Will Rogers success of reopening went well. And so just to add a little bit more to that, we had our team come down for division and consultants, and we had boots on the ground last Wednesday, and we're starting the revisioning of Will Rogers to see how we're going to revision it and how we're going to include the general public to come in and be a part of that revisioning plan. I don't know if anyone here has actually revisited, but if you go up there and see our trails and everything, it's something to work out of the office every day, but to go to the outside office every day is unimaginable. Just to see the trails repairs and the green grass coming back, it's been unbelievable. It really has. Again, I don't want to forget about all of our other parks, and our trails. But it's amazing that just for everyone here to know that we are all full of the same community and to really appreciate SAML for doing everything that they're doing for us. MRCA, Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, doing everything for us. National Park standing right by our side is really, truly a 100% goal of all of us together. And I really can't wait to work with you all next year. Thank you.
Next is the Forest Service report.
No report.
No report.
I just asked something about that before we go on, James. It would be great. I know we haven't had one in a while. At the statewide wildfire resilience and forest quarterly meeting on Friday, there's a lot of stuff that was announced that's either done or about to come down. A lot of stuff particularly related to forest stuff. It might be great if we could send a extra special invite to our colleague that maybe in the next month or two. Just simply, there's a lot of stuff. It'd be great to get an update since we haven't heard from them in quite some time.
That can't hurt. I'll definitely do that.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Executive Director's report.
Mr. Chairman and members, the number one issue we're trying to address right now is getting these documents approved. But the next thing is going to be how we coordinate with the other agencies. And there's a lot of coordination that's going to have to take place. And we're looking forward to having our members, statutory members, join us on a regular basis. And I've talked to the executive officers and executive director. And I think we're probably going to have a kind of a subgroup that would be meeting on the Proposition 4 issues, because most of those issues are in common with all the conservancies in the WCB. And I think if we have a coalition, we'll be stronger in terms of dealing with the legislature. And part of the problem was when the legislature was addressing these issues, we did not have a unified voice. We didn't even realize what was coming down. And most people were saying, how did the legislature ever get to the point where all the previous exemptions were wiped away? Well, the reason is because we did not represent a unified front to them. And so one of the things we're going to be discussing among ourselves is a unified front with the conservation organizations that will present the legislature with, I think, an impressive array of reasons why Prop 4 needs to be implemented immediately. And the first thing that they're going to be doing is seeking an exemption. And so while we've probably dodged a bullet here, the legislature is going to be asked, there's already a bill that's been drafted by our colleagues to exempt Prop 4 in the entirety. And if that happens, we'll be able to move very quickly. If not, we will have to go through some degree of process. So that's what's in store.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Next is Mountain Recreation Conservation Authority report. George.
Thank you, Chair. As usual, you've had the opportunity to look over the report, but also as usual, I'd like to pull one item up for additional emphasis under the National Resource and Planning comment. As many of you recall, the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing is an MRCA project, and very responsible and involved on that. And if you read under Natural Resource and Planning, MRCA restoration staff began intensive work in the Lower Marple Canyon Stream course at the terminus of Castaic Road. This effort aligns with the project to analyze all Interstate 5 wildlife crossings, and currently there's 3 that we're looking at between highways 138 and 126. Both initiatives are planned as a 3-year project. So just based on our work with the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, MRCA has become a go-to organization in reference to wildlife crossings. So we'll be hearing more about that. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Next is the Santa Clarita Watershed Recreation and Conservation Authority report. Susan over at Riverside.
Nothing to report tonight.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Nothing to report tonight.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Next is the Wildlife Corridor Conservation Authority report.
No report.
We have the Moore Park Watershed Parks Recreation and Conservation Authority report.
No report.
And then or reports by staff.
I don't think we have any.
Okay, questions to staff. I think we've taken that all through the session here, but let me move to the members' comments on matters not on the agenda. So I know we have several.
Oh.
See a few names. So let's go to the advisory committee first, and then.
Yes, so this is Wilfred Garan with City of Thousand Oaks representation. I want to give appreciation to the SAMO Fund. Deanna's already left. I had a chance to speak to her in the hallway, but I've been out on the ground weeding at the Rancho Sierra Vista project the past couple of weeks, and I appreciate working alongside managers of that, co-managers of that project, Ben and Tu, and also staff member Chloe. Enjoy the enthusiasm and the hard work of the young people there who engage with that.
Okay, great. Halen?
Hey, yes, thank you. Thanks everybody for interesting meeting. As always in the public coming out. I had 2 questions. So I think Mr. Edelman, said that there was something called a wildlife management plan that spanned from Topanga Mountains all the way to eastern Santa Monica Mountains. I was wondering if Malibu is involved in this, I think I wrote it down, land protection plan. We do not. Oh, I would love to see the plan if you have like a PDF, if somebody can send it to me, that would be wonderful. I'd like to know what's in it. And then the second thing was, thank you so much for coming to Topanga to do that town hall with TSEP. I think it was really successful to educate some of the residents there with regards to fire, wildlife mitigation, and some of the projects that the county and MRCA and Santa Monica Mountains have in store. I was wondering if anybody had heard that a Malibu city, a government official or anybody was trying to stop that plan from happening. Seems to be a rumor around town, and I was just hoping to get to the bottom of it. If anybody hears anything, please let me know.
No, haven't heard anything.
Thanks, Rory. I wish everybody a happy holiday and healthy new year. And again, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Just super quick, at our last meeting, there was a conversation about, a conversation about potentially moving our meetings to the daytime. I work full-time and often am downtown and wouldn't be able to participate if our meetings go down or during the day.
Okay.
Stupid.
The ghost. I'll just say also for people on the way out, our lovely colleague here brought crumble cookies. So on the way out, you should all start on your caloric excess for the holidays. So thank you, Julie, for bringing cookies.
Fran, I know you wanted to make a comment.
Just a couple of comments, besides wishing everyone a happy holidays and a great 2026.
Fran, sorry.
I am concerned about Prop 4. I'm on the WCB and what's going on. We'll see what the governor's budget, which usually gets proposed in early to mid-January every year, is doing on how much is backfilling other items on the agenda. You're going to perhaps see a lot of that. That nuanced change in cap and trade for GGRF, greenhouse gas emission funds that are part of Prop 4 that get pulled out. Now been changed, I guess words matter, to cap and invest. Well, I guess that means that can go into any fund, any general purpose fund. Just that change of wording. So cap and trade used to be if major emitters could not reduce their emissions, their only other alternative was giving the state money that we put in the GGRF fund that can be used to reduce emissions that they couldn't do. Now, so it was sort of, so now there's no relationship to that. It could go into any priority on any issue. So I'm not sure, well, anyway, their budget is extremely tight, and I understand that. The other thing is just FYI on the Wildlife Conservation Board, which I serve on. Chuck Bonham has been our director of the Wildlife Conservation Board and is the director of the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, has stepped down, and he will be now with the Nature Conservancy. And that's last week. Hasn't been in.
What's his role, Nature Conservancy?
I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? I know he loves fish, so I keep thinking maybe he'll be more engaged in Matilah Dam removal or something like that. Yeah. I'll follow what he's up to. And the last thing is sort of on a sad note with the horrible death of Rob Reiner. For those of you who didn't know, he was so incredibly important in the acquisition of Amundsen Ranch. I don't know if you knew that. Well, he held meetings. He got engaged with Washington Mutual. He got the press engaged, but he was very supportive of acquiring that piece of property, and even showed up outside of Washington Mutual and who was going to acquire the property. opposing building on that property and traveled up to their headquarters in Seattle. But he was engaged with Supervisor Parks and Save Open Space and things like that, and cared about environmental issues, and held several just casual meetings on his behalf, along with a few other in the entertainment industry. And so that's how I got to know Rob Reiner, other than many years of watching him on television. Anyway, best wishes, everyone, for a happy and healthy 2026. Things are going to get better, right?
Hope to God.
I know there was a comment made about meeting change. The request came from a member of the Conservancy body, and if you didn't submit your interest, please do. There's no announcement to make right now, but I know James was doing his best to get everybody's thoughts and feedbacks on responding to a member's request. So, but nothing to announce there, and other than make your opinion known, and he will collect it all for us to review. So, with that, I don't believe we have a closed session. And due to the Martin Luther King holiday next month, our meeting's going to be postponed for 1 week to January 26th. And with that, I want to wish everyone.
Has one last question.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, one other one that I just meant to ask earlier. Are we planning anything for the January 7th anniversary? Is there anything we're formally acknowledging other than just the anniversary of the fires?
The January 7th of the massacre?
No, the fires, the start of the fires. I know there's various things around town, and I didn't know if we were doing anything. I hadn't heard. That's why I was just asking.
You're welcome to say, I'm sorry, Joe. I mean, I don't know how we would do that, frankly.
No, I know. I just there is going to be a lot of things I didn't know if we were doing anything, but that's it. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, I want to wish everybody happy holiday. Look forward to seeing you all either at community events or at our very next meeting.
Mr.
So thank you
Chairman,
all for attending.
I think James may have announced, so the next 3 meetings, thanks to the hospitality of Jody Lyle, the National Park Service, will be held at their headquarters in Westlake Village, because the U.S. Forest Service will be occupying this space for at least the next 3 months.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. Okay. With that, good night.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.